Hi, this is Arati.
And this is Barsha.
We are back again with another episode of Lost Youths.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about Freedom Day. Have you heard about this term?
Oh my god, I heard about that.
Okay, so for people that don't know, what is Freedom Day? Or what is it referring to? Do you know?
I think it was when people were referring it to opening of the lockdown, right?
Pretty much. So July 19th was the day where, Mr. Boris Johnson said, after that, rules will be a little bit less stricter, so it'll be more relaxed. And a lot of people were like, yeah, Freedom Day. So that's where the Freedom Day comes from. What do you think about that, to be honest? Let's start there.
Bizarre.
Especially, I think the rules were there's not going to be any strict mandatory laws on social distancing, mask as well. You're gonna, indoors, I think you still have to in certain situations. Transport, might say definitely, but other than that, it's you don't have to wear a mask, and that's scary to me.
Yeah, that threw me off a bit. I was like, what?
Yeah. Will you be wearing masks still?
Oh, yes.
Me too, 100%. I don't think I can do without them. I think also the fact that we've been wearing for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
It just feels weird, when you go into a crowd and no one's wearing it. It's just oh my god.
That, or even sometimes when I walk on the outdoor street, without mask, I feel naked. It feels so weird.
It's become an accessory.
Yes. And I think especially with the heat as well, I don't think especially good at it. They're not like it for sure. And also along with that, another rule I guess that was kind of lifted was clubs being open back again.
I know. It was on the same day, wasn't it? 19th birthday.
Okay, so there was confusion because I read that 19th birthday, clubs open when it socks up. But then I also heard it's from September.
Oh, what?
But I don't know,
but I've already seen people go clubbing and shit.
I think what? There's crack of go party coming soon.
Yeah.
After party and after party, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna skip this one. I don't know how comfortable I feel, but yeah, I think to be honest, the 19 birthday or it could be that 19 birthday open. The September birthday, maybe look into doing the COVID passport open entry, maybe. I don't know, I could be wrong with that, but
I get it on social media, Instagram. There, guys, saw this video of people, very late tonight, where they were counting down
for
the clubs to open. I was like, yes. No freaking way! It looks exactly like a night of New Year's Eve where they would celebrate out on the streets, and it was mayhem.
Yeah, I saw that video too, and I was like, this is just embarrassing.
For a second, I actually thought, nah, this is not real. I thought
old video.
I thought, they recycled a new video from New Year's Eve and then just tagged it as saying, on the night of opening for the clubs, because they were proper counting down and everything as 10, 9, 8. I was like, what is? But
it could be, right? You never know.
You never know. Social media.
That's the thing. It could be that, but at the same time, I believe that people are that dumb.
People are.
So yeah, that terrified me. So you're going to be staying away from clubs.
Oh my god, yes. Even because I work at a restaurant and for the past many months we've had a door coordinator to stop only a certain amount of people in, and then only let them in when the lobby is a bit clear. And now everyone is allowed to just walk in. We don't have a door coordinator anymore to say, oh wait, there's too many people, don't come in. So working the past few days, I just felt a bit anxious. I was like, oh my god, there's so many people.
Do you know that's actually a thing? I heard that, especially about return to work when they're urging employers to create some sort of anxiety helpline for their staff, because I think a lot of people are having the anxiety of oh shit, what am I going to do? But so you mentioned working there now is very different. Are you guys wearing masks still?
Oh yeah, for staff, all of us, we have to.
Okay, that's good.
But customers, they're not obliged to wear it. So
I don't feel comfortable. Oh my god, that's crazy.
So anyone working indoors, staff-wise, all of us, we still wear it, and we still get all of our temperature taken. We still follow all of our hand wash procedures and stuff. But for customers, it's do whatever you want.
Oh my god. Do you guys have to do a weekly testing, rapid
we don't
test
have
or
that.
anything? No,
we don't have that.
My god, that's a scary thought though. Still for a lot of people to enter at the same time, and
I know.
then just being that kind of closed space,
Yeah.
but a lot of people, oh god.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. I was like, oh my god, I was a bit overwhelmed when it opened back and everyone was just like walking in. I was like, oh my god.
And I bet like the customer themselves, like, are there some customers that wear masks? And
There are some who
Ew.
will walk in with masks.
Mm-hmm.
Like very few though, like a very small number.
So what do you think of like this whole vaccine passport? Like, let's say in the restaurant they start like saying to the customers, you have to show your passport before coming in. Is that something you feel like, oh, at least I'll control the crowd, and then you feel safer maybe? Or what do you think?
So no, I actually really don't even like the idea of having this whole vaccine passport or whatever they're calling it. And I feel like it's marginalizing people and dividing people even more by doing that, and I really don't like that idea.
You know what's crazy? It's I think towards the beginning, or maybe when the talks of the vaccine were coming out, they were saying like, oh, imagine, like, it was a conspiracy back then, and they were like saying, imagine we have like a passport to, and you have to show it to go anywhere and everywhere. Now it's becoming a reality.
Know. How scary
That's
is
crazy.
that?
Did everyone just manifest that? Right?
I bet, because everyone was like fearing whatever worse.
But yeah, I was like really curious about this passport thing, because it's not like, in a way, it's kind of saying to people like, if you want to live your normal life, then go get it, like kind of like blackmail us again. So I was looking at that, and they were saying that restaurants, pubs, and bars are being urged now to consider using this COVID passport, instead of wearing mask or social distancing. That it's not to be used for like essential services like GPs or a supermarket. Okay? So it's kind of like a leisure type of thing, Raisa. What are your thoughts on that?
Wait, so you have to have a passport if you're going to a pub or like restaurants and those kind of things. But if you're going to like a GP or health service, you don't have to.
So it's not so much like you have to show your passport, but the restaurants owners are encouraged to put that in place. So they're saying you don't have to follow this protocol, but we strongly encourage you to start like doing
I
that.
think that would be a very bad move, and I don't think many restaurants will be willing to do that
either,
because it is going to affect a lot on their profit.
Yes,
because like we all know there's still a lot of people who are not vaccinated, and people are not going to go ahead and like get vaccinated just to get a passport for themselves. So
true.
I do not see it being a benefit to restaurants and pubs, even if it is being pushed by the government.
Okay, so let's get into that then. So vaccinations. So for listeners who may not know, and only amongst us two, there's one that's been vaccinated, one still undecided, right? So let's talk about that. Like, let's start with you. You received a letter, right?
Oh yeah, like months ago.
And what was it for? Like, did they say what vaccine it was going to be for?
I don't think they name it. I think they normally just send you a letter. Isn't that how everyone got it? Like, you get a text from your GP to say, book your vaccine. How did you do yours?
I think I got a text, but like, मेरे से एकदमै चोर guys. Because so they were saying like, oh, because you're under the NHS payroll, you're like a key worker. And to be honest, guys, like, I was working before pandemic as like a bank Nepali interpreter, hospital ko छेउमा. And you know that like apparently if you don't work for or take up any roles or extra hours for 6 months, they'll literally just kick you off without even telling you. Okay? And मेरो त way past 6 months basic, especially with COVID as well. So I thought, oh, they probably kicked me off, whatever. And suddenly I get like, I suddenly get like an NHS badge saying, thank you for your hard work, right? Like, key worker. And I was like, oh God, I feel guilty. And then the second thing I get is a letter saying like, oh, because you're a key worker, you're eligible for it, but in Akatike. And I think in the letter, it didn't say what vaccination I was going to get, but upon booking it, that's when they did say like, you're booked for Pfizer, but in July, I think. Yeah.
I think for everyone else, like the whole public, we got a text message from the GP just saying, hello, your name, and then please book your COVID vaccine at this center, and then they provide you with a link, and then you go onto the link, and then they sometimes give you an option for the location, and if not, they will just choose the nearest one to you, and then you're at date and you just choose a time slot to go to. I received like 3 or 4 text messages.
I was going to say
and
that,
then
yeah.
I've also received like a letter as well to say, oh, you need to book. And then actually a few weeks ago, I even started getting phone calls from the GPK. And this I was not even actually expecting that they would go this far, but they have, and they started calling me to say, hey, we noticed that you still haven't booked your COVID vaccine. We have a slot available this Saturday. Would you like me to book it in? And I was like, because I actually did have work that Saturday, and I was like, oh, I can't, I have work. And then he called me again the following week, right, from my GP. And then he was like, oh, to book your vaccine, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I'm going on holiday next week. This was like
you
last
were going
week.
on
Yeah.
holiday.
Because I really was going on holiday. But after that, I haven't received a phone call yet. Actually, I did, but I was at work, so I missed the call. So they are really on my back to try to get me to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like they're really pushing my buttons at the moment.
Do you feel like it's turning you even, like, even let's say you were considering it, or you're just like, you know what, the more they push, the less you want to do.
Yeah, it's like, it's making me more angry that I'm not getting my own time to, like, say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now because I feel comfortable. Because right now I'm still quite undecided about it. Like, I think ever since the vaccine came out, like, you know, like, sometimes you just have that gut feeling, and I'm just like, I've always just felt like, nah, I don't feel too safe about it. So I've just, like, not gone ahead and booked it. And yeah, they're just like on my back. I'm just like, oh my God.
I'm just wondering, like, if they do call you next time and you do happen to pick it up, can you just say to them, like, oh, I haven't decided yet, but can I call you instead when I'm ready? Do you think they, right?
I think I should try that next time when they call.
Yeah, definitely do that, because I think they'll be able to put something on your record. Yeah. The next time somebody else does call, then they'll see the record. Oh, don't call this person. They'll call you. But yeah, I'm just wondering if they want it. What if they're like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. We'll give you until a certain amount of month.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know.
That's the thing. And like, so when they started chasing my back to actually book the vaccine, I kind of started to look online. I was looking at the percentage of people who have denied the vaccination. But at the moment, there's actually no statistics for that. The latest and one is from February 2019 to March February 2021 to March 2021, okay? When they initially rolled the vaccines out. So they have the statistics for that, but they don't have it in numbers. They literally just have like an article. It is on the, I think it is on the gov.com, and then they have like listed it out, like why people do not want to get vaccinated, or like their concerns, but it doesn't actually give like a number or percentage of like how many people have been vaccinated and how many haven't. And one of the things that I really wanted to find out was, like, I know like a majority of people in the UK, like, they have gotten vaccinated, but there are a big number who haven't as well. So I really wanted to know like what the percentage was that people denied vaccination, and like the age range as well. Like, that would be interesting to see.
That would be interesting, yeah.
But I didn't find it anywhere. I
think so far, like, the recent one is still, but I think maybe like a couple of days ago, or maybe even last week, I heard on the news saying like 80% of adults now have received their first jab. So which makes me think like maybe like there's 20%, maybe that's just maybe the statistics that you're after, right? But yeah, as far as like, oh, if the legit deny grades, I don't think they'll ever say it like that. I think they'll say like, oh, 80% success rate by what's on, and then you have to kind of figure it out yourself, because I don't think they'll be able to, because they're trying to encourage people to get it.
Exactly. And like they've opened up, like, I think it was after under 18s or under 35s were able to be vaccinated that they did like the come and have your jab thing, and I remember they did it like in this big stadium where you got free jabs, and people were just like going in to get free jabs.
So it's like walk in, walk out type of thing.
Walk out, and that just seems like crazy to me. And like they're still doing it. Like, I see posters. I think I went to see GP with my mom to take her to an appointment, and I saw, I don't know if I saw the poster there or if I heard it on the radio or where, but okay, maybe I heard it on the radio then. What they said was like, oh, if you haven't got vaccinated, you are welcome to walk into the center and get vaccinated. Get your COVID jab today. I was like, oh my god, the
Do you
propaganda.
feel like the proper pressure came from everywhere you look and turn?
Like everywhere, like they're just, I feel like they're pressuring everyone to get it, and I just don't understand why they're onto it so much, and I just don't like it.
I feel like partly it's because they just kind of want to go back to normal so that then business is up and running, all that stuff. And then that's why they're really pressuring people to. But at the same time, because they're pressuring so much, I'm like, why? Like, it makes you really question. And if you really look into the way that Boris says something, this announcement I got here, I don't know, I think I saw it on TikTok, but the way he says stuff like, oh, it's the great, we may be able to do it, it's the freedom, it's just a positive, but bits if you dissect it, he's like saying maybe, he's saying possibly, so it's not like
it's
guaranteed.
Not 100%,
somebody pointed that out, and I was like, oh, that's true, okay.
Because, they themselves, they don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think that's the thing, like, I don't think anyone really knows. I think, especially, like, it's a new virus, new kind of like they're only doing the studies on, like they said, like, got the gay about 8 years vaccine to develop a vaccine, and then they've done it within a year. Years, so that was my concern to begin with. What were some of your other concerns?
That was also one of my concerns, but when I read into it, the reason why that was because, like, when people or scientists do not get the funds they need to develop the vaccine, that's why it takes that much longer. Okay?
What? Really?
For like testing and trials. But because coronavirus was such a big thing, scientists were being funded by a lot of people, which is why that they were able to develop it in such a short amount of time, and that they were able to carry out trials. Because I don't know if you remember, but I remember, like, before the COVID vaccines were rolled out, they were trialing it on people who volunteered to do it,
$2,000 for 2 weeks, girl.
So that was why it actually rolled out so much quickly.
Do you know what I thought it was? I thought for, the 8 to 10 years, I thought it was because they try it out on a individual or group, and they kind of wait like a couple of years, and then they look at the results.
But that is also true.
Oh, okay. So that was my main thing. In terms of like why coronavirus vaccine came out so quickly. And I think another thing that I heard was like coronavirus kura is something that existed for a long time, but it's just that this particular virus, COVID-19, is very new. So for that reason, because coronavirus already existed, they had the back knowledge or something. And that kind of made me feel a little bit safer. I was like, hey, that's why it came out really quick.
I think it was SARS bunny. It was a form of coronavirus, and then this one is extreme development, I guess. But yeah, when you said about the 8 to 10 years results, and that is one of the things that is also still throwing me off, because for long-term effects, I would say, that is how they study it over that amount of time. But they're not going to be able to do that. And we're not time travelers. We're not going to know, like, the vaccine, 10 years down the line, we don't know what's going to happen to that patient. So that is actually one of the reasons why I still haven't gone ahead and booked it. And it is said that on government pages and all the documents that the trial will only end in 2023.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So if the trial ends 2023, which is like 2020 develop
2020
2019 or 2020
no, I think it's 2020. Were we 2021, right? I think 2020 mala.
Yeah, so say that they developed it like 2020 and then 2023, it gives them a 3 years time frame to trial it out and everything, and then 3 years is at least something to see results instead of just like a year
less than a year.
Yeah, so I think that would, by that time, it would at least make me think, oh, okay, so 3 years time, I say they have seen some results, I may be a little bit,
not even like confirm that.
Yeah, not even confirmed. I may be a bit persuaded to get it then. But I really do feel like the government should have at least given the option to people to say, okay, would you be more willing to have it after the trial ends, or like,
Yeah, I think they're, like I said earlier, they're just in rush to go back to normal just because of the sake of economy and stuff like that. But yeah, so if listeners, you may not have caught on, but if you have, Arati has not yet decided, but I myself have had like the full doses of vaccine. I know I've already got that done. And initially I had the same thought as you, like, oh my God, like it's been less than a year, like I don't know if I want it. And the thing is, I kept getting text messages. I got a letter first, and then they were saying like, we want to invite you because you're like key worker, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm not. But yeah, I got that letter, and I think I messaged you guys. I was like, oh my God, guys, I've got this letter. I don't know what to do. And then it's really strange, but also interesting because you yourself, I think, was the only person who was kind of like, oh, it's up to you. I don't know. I'm personally unsure. No. Yeah. But the people...
Like, I remember having like a big convo when it kind of like they started rolling out the vaccines, and we had like a whole conversation on our group chat.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's interesting that you said that, but because you don't work in the NHS field, but everyone that works in NHS field, like Christina, like Rosmita, they were like saying, just get it, just go, the opposing views was so interesting, but then that like threw me off even more. And I think like Krishna was like, they waste so many vaccines because they have to be kept in a certain temperature. This was, I think, Pfizer. And then like कति batch निकाल्छ रे get it ready for the vaccine गर्नुलाई तर कति जना show up हुँदैन, so they waste a lot. So she was like, just get it done and done. Pressure all the hair. I was like, I don't know if I want it done. I was freaking out, but yeah, I literally was like this on the same boat with you. And then I think one of my, how like long-term effects, one of my main concern was like, la, पछि गएर नानी पाउन हुन्छ नि, नानी पाउन त्यस्तो effect भयो. Yeah.
Thing was a big thing with the coronavirus vaccine.
I don't know why, like, that it wasn't really talked about either, right? But for some reason in my head I was like, पछि गएर नानी पाउन. I think maybe it's like a deep-rooted fear. But I was like,
at that time it wasn't, but पछि say people who were fearing it was a big thing then.
Oh, I see. But yeah, at that time that was one of the main points on why I didn't want to get it done. And then and there's this one guy, right? And he was saying to me, like, this is like towards the beginning of coronavirus vaccine rollouts. And he was saying like, oh, Dee, like, do you think you'll get it if the vaccine was available to you, if it was offered? But then I was like, nah, I don't trust that shit. Nah, when again, he was like, why? When again, he goes, why don't you want it? And I was like, well, you hear so many things, like there's something, you can't really trust the government, you can't trust this, all the conspiracies. I was telling him, do you know what he said to me? He was like, why would you listen to coronavirus? Why would you listen to the conspiracy theories but not listen to the scientists and the actual theories? Like actual studies that's been done. And he was like, it's up to you. But if I were you, I would do the proper research and not just focus on what these people are saying on social media. And I was like, and what are you going to do? And he goes, yeah, I think I would get it, but straight away. And I was like, okay. And then because I kept getting the letter, and also partly I was like, I feel bad for taking that extra vaccine because I'm not even working in the key area, workforce, whatever. So I was like, and I was like, you know what, like, this is Pfizer the difficult because there's like other things that were coming out. And then I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna like shut down all these conspiracies, but I'm just going to listen to what the studies are showing and all that stuff. And I even went to the point where I was looking at the ingredients.
Oh yeah.
Ingredients in who knows, it could be a lie, I don't know. But I was looking at the ingredients in each of these vaccines, like Moderna, all that stuff. And then I looked at like the side effects, and it had a chart and it was saying like headaches on the top, like side effects on the top, and on the left hand side the list of different type of vaccines, and it was like tick whichever side effects you vaccine and I was like, okay, Pfizer doesn't look that bad when I saw it. And then I think at the end the last kind of thing that pushed me was like, is this obviously it's a new vaccine, and they don't know how long it's going to be on the body for right now. But the thing is, like with vaccines, like even flu vaccines and stuff like that, you have to get it on a yearly basis because it's not going to last you a lifetime. So similarly, your vaccine it's not going to last you a lifetime. So there is no risk. There is no effects on it. And I was like, okay. That's why it pushed me. So when I say that to you, do you feel like, do you feel like a little bit like, I don't know. No,
I
still
feel like
no.
no.
Wait, in your family, are you the only one who hasn't got it, or has your brother got it?
He actually ended up getting his first vaccine, I think, maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Oh shit, so you're the only one?
I'm the only one. I'm the black sheep at the moment.
Shit. So like, you mentioned like 3 years on, when the trial does end, you may be open to the idea of it. Like, for you to be like, 100%, I'm definite, how long do you think that's going to take? Like, a decade?
I don't know. Maybe when, because most of the vaccines, they do like a 8 to 10 years go trial to see side effects, right? Long-term side effects, not short-term. So maybe in the future, if they do figure that out, if they do have long-term effects or not, and if there are good results, then I might go ahead and get it. But then who knows, by 10 years time, there might not even be an existence of coronavirus.
But they're saying that it's going to be like fluke. It's just going to like last.
Hover around.
Yeah. So like, with that said, I'm like, honestly, winter might going to be deadly if it just merges with this flu. But yeah, another thing obviously about everything's opening back up again, but you don't have vaccine. Is there a concern for you, like, about when you go out shopping or when you go out on holidays, public places? Do you feel like, oh my God, I'm not vaccinated, so I have to be extra careful? Do you have that kind of thing?
I don't fear it as much because I do feel like I take precautions like hand washing and making sure that I will, those kind of safety things are in place. So I don't stay in fear, because staying in fear is not good anyway.
Not a quality of life.
No. I wouldn't let me affect it to that extent, I think.
Because I have had vaccine, but I know that people are vaccine resistant. There's still a chance of getting it either. So for that reason, I still am paranoid. And with the lockdown the rules are gone, and then there's, of course, you don't have to social distance. But I get really offended when people come really close to me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, what's the issue? Okay.
I still rather have my own personal space still, rather than be in big crowds. My parents still tell me oh, don't go in big crowds. I don't think I will for quite a while.
I think the only big crowd that I went to was watching the England match, and it was outdoors. That's why I decided to go. But there was this it started raining, so I had an umbrella, and we weren't wearing masks at the time as well, because and then you had a guy, and he was like, oh guys, can I jump under your umbrella? And we were like, oh sure, and then he was just like, he wasn't wearing masks as well, but he was like one of those kids like, how would it type and whatever type, and he was like, oh yeah, you guys aren't afraid of COVID, are you? I'm not wearing a mask, you guys aren't, so are you guys alright? And Pops was like, yeah, we're cool. But then I was like, and I was the whole time I was facing the other way, where there's open air.
Oh
and then and I was like, fucking hell, why is he smoking? If you're gonna smoke, in my mind, I was like, if you're gonna smoke, get out of here, because I hate that smoker smell when it's really close up. And then he started coughing it, and he goes, don't worry guys, it's not the corona, it's just from smoke. But then I was like, God. Who knows though? I don't know that. But yeah, I was low-key freaking out, but I was just trying to stay calm. But I'm still freaked out with that. And even when I'm about to crossing, so he crossed over, I hold my breath. I'm like, I'm not risking anything.
And you know what I've noticed? I've noticed when walking a lot of people, if they're walking in the same lane, they'll switch to the other side of the road,
and I love that so much.
I was like, yes, thank you.
And I love that. And then and I'm thinking should I go? Should I not? But then they leave, and I'm like, thank God.
Which I think is pretty good as well, because it not only gives that personal space, but it actually is a protective measure as well.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I have a question. So, you know how you're not exactly anti-vax, but you're just kind of unsure in it. What are your thoughts on those hardcore anti-vaxxers? No, we're not doing, not only just corona vaccine, just overall, including corona vaccine. So what are your thoughts on them?
I mean,
do you kind of side with them?
It's not that I side with them, but I can't say I'm either one, because I haven't done my research to say, okay, I'm on to this side, or I'm leaning to this side more.
True.
Because I haven't done, they might have, anti-vaxxers and pro-vaxxers, they might have done their thorough research on both their sides to say why they are standing on those sides. But I haven't. So at this time and moment, I won't be able to say which side, or, I wouldn't be able to give an answer to that.
I don't know if I mentioned about Christina, our friend Christina. Did I tell you about her? Like, this random lady showed up to their GP.
Oh, yes. I remember, you
weird.
told us the story about that, yeah.
Okay, listeners, if you don't know, then get some popcorn, because I was freaking out when she came and told me this. Okay, basically, she works at a GP, and she's a nurse. She works at a GP, and randomly, like, after her shift finished, and she was preparing to go home. And the other she noticed a notice that was placed under her wind wiper thingy. And then it was just like an A4 paper, and it was like saying that basically nurses and doctors are forcing people to get the vaccine, and that's very that's illegal. You guys shouldn't be doing that. It was kind of almost like a threat, and she freaked out, and then she was like, freaked out, especially because her car wasn't parked in the staff area at all. It was like customer area, but hers was the only car, I think, that had that. It's almost like they knew that this belonged to a nurse. Yeah, so she freaked out. She went inside and spoke to her team, and then they looked in the camera, and it was this granny kitty. Nobody had recognized, and I think later on they did told the police as well. But yeah, she was like really freaking out that day. She was like, what if they come over to my house? What if they know where I live? But yeah, that was pretty like hardcore. Theorani, the London protesters, the name anti-vaxxers, I just find that so stupid. Like, I'm sorry, like, I understand that's your right. You have your reasons for believing it. But then the fact that they're like going, oh, don't give us vaccine, corona isn't real, blah, blah, blah. But they're in a crowd, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a good chance to spread this virus. I don't like it. But yeah, scary.
But yes, the Krishnako stories, that was really scary, because you never know with some kind of stalkers. They will just take their anger out on anybody, it doesn't matter who. And there are some psychopaths and yeah, that was creepy as.
Yeah, I mean, I would be freaked out if like somebody just randomly left a note. Yeah.
And especially but it wasn't in like the staff car park one. That's even more creepy.
Yeah, man. I think I was saying recently, I sent you a post about this lady who had a Pfizer vaccine, but then she was in hospital, like had a lot of crazy shaking, right? Of course, there's like different side effects that will affect individuals differently depending on our immune system and stuff like that. But when you see posts like that, does that freak you out even more?
Yes, like 100%. Like, of course, like you said, everyone's body is different, and everything will react differently according to our own immune system. And yeah, seeing those kind of posts, it does freak me out a lot, because especially as being someone who has stayed in hospital in the past and like having to go through some sets of procedures that involve your spine, it is fucking scary, I tell you. And like that's probably one of the reasons why I don't want to get the vaccine as well. Like, I just kind of like think, oh my God, in the future, like, what if something happens and I end up in a hospital? Maybe because like I had like a bad hospital experience as well. Maybe that's why it throws me off. So seeing those kind of posts like really throw me off. And like some other people say, like, I'd rather let my own immune system fight for it instead of having a vaccine and let that fight it off for me.
I get you. But like, so cases are not cases, but you hear stories about, like, on social media, of course, you hear stories like, oh, I had the Pfizer vaccine and this is the side effects that I'm having. They never really like talk about this in the mainstream media, do they? Like,
and why? Because they're trying to block something off. Maybe there's something bigger happening behind the scenes. Like, who fucking knows? And like, people will say, and even like the government, the doctors, when you talk to them, they'll say like, oh, don't believe everything you see on like online. But the same thing will apply to media. Like, don't believe everything you see on TV, because TV is everything that comes out on all news channels is also part of like this. They are all then connected government at the end. So like, it works both ways, not just one way. So
that's why, like, the way that government is going on about at the moment, I don't necessarily agree with it, because it does come off as like a blackmail. Okay, like, you need if you want to do something, well, you're gonna have to show your passport, otherwise you can't go. It's like, so you're basically giving no chance to the people. You're saying, okay, it's your option to do whatever, but if you want to do this, then you need to show us proof, which goes back to like you need to be vaccinated.
Exactly. And talk about living in a country with freedom of speech and freedom of choice. Where is it now that I need it?
That's the only thing that I don't agree with, to be honest. But I think like individual wise, like I think I told you as well, like Manti or Lizzie, they should do their own research rather than like focusing too much. I think like you hear stuff on social media and I think you do have to be open-minded, but don't heavily rely on that and do your own research and last to do your own decision is what I say. That's my take on it.
Yeah. And I heard like, for the COVID as well, just like any other vaccine, like a booster is needed.
Yeah, like I think like eventually they're going to do yearly type of thing where booster gori on the Well, Freedom Day, guys. Freedom Day is here. But yeah, I will not be carefree though. I'll still be indoors.
Yeah, I think many people will still be quite they will still take like their own preventative measures for it.
And I hope they do.
Yeah, even if everything is like...
And I think like with the 19th lockdown opening up again, scientists I think they were saying that if they do go ahead with this Freedom Day, I think September time is when we're going to be hit the hardest, September, October time. So they're saying now like, because it's opening up, people are being reckless already. Prepare for that.
So basically. We're literally on our way to a third wave, preparing for a third wave.
Pretty much.
Which we all know it was going to happen after the lockdown was going to be fully lifted anyway.
But it's like, even prior to the lockdown being lifted, the fact that Euros go final, they were saying like, pubs can only open till a certain time, but on that day, pubs are able to stay late open.
Like, why is the whole government, and they come up with this rule that applies everywhere, but then just on this certain day, just because of the Euro
like
Cups, you're like, oh, okay, you get a pass for this day because of a big football night.
Yeah, and then when Boris was like, I trust the public will be very careful, take precautions and stuff like that. I'm like, are you mad? Like, have you seen the public?
Oh my god.
They were so reckless. So let us know, guys. I think we're going to have to kind of wrap this up.
That has been me and Barsha on our discussion of
Freedom Day.
Freedom Day and vaccines.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let us know, like, are you a pro-vax? Are you like in the middle, or are you a anti-vax? And have you been vaccinated? I want to know, like, how many people, how many listeners are vaccinated, and what drove them to make that decision? Because everyone was very unsure in the beginning.
Hold on, I'm going to add one more thing. Okay. Because we're living in first world, I guess, country, and Nepal the third world my person and like my family's back home were also, because my mom is like constantly talking to her sister back home. They were like, why don't you just go get it? And then they were pointing at me because I'm the only one who haven't got the vaccine. And my mom shared that with her. And then she was like, why don't you just go ahead and get it? Like, at least you get it for free there, no? And like, because Nepal there are no vaccines available unless you go to the black market. And let me tell you, people are getting vaccines from the black market. People who can afford it, rich families, for double, triple, quadruple the price that they need to pay for. And it is so crazy to me.
Wait, is that some recent news?
No, it's been going on ever since the vaccine was available in Nepal.
Because, like, I understand, like, how, like, Samira Bozur, they've been vaccinated, but they're on a government go. Roll out with the elderly first, I think they did that for them, and then they went to, I think, business owners, and it was free. Like, I didn't hear about payment and stuff like that. The only thing that I heard, which I was concerned about, was the vaccine, I think Surumat Astra but then because of India issue with the corona and mutant virus, whatever variant there, I think that kind of got paused and they were getting Chinese vaccine. And I was like, I've never even heard about this vaccine. I'm a bit concerned, but yeah, that was quite terrifying. But I didn't know about the black market. That's
my god,
scary.
Yeah, it's happening. It is so real. Like, people who want it, they will get it any way that they can.
So do they feel like, you've been given that opportunity, why are you not taking it, whereas we kind of have to kind of suffer? Yeah. Oh shit. Do you feel bad when they say that?
Well, I kind of feel bad because like the way that they see it as like, oh, I wish I was protected from it as well. But because like I have different views, like I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna let it get to me.
I see. The only thing I would say, like, I would like to add on is I've been seeing so many TikToks of girls saying that Pfizer made their boobs grow.
What the hell?
Anyway, have you not seen this?
No.
So literally somebody posted like, I heard Pfizer is making boobs grow enough. And then I think this girl went from like a B to a D or something, or like A to a C, like 2 cups just increased skin. And your sis is flat. And I was like, ooh, okay.
What if it's a tumor growing?
Don't be saying that to me right now. I'm alright, I don't want to know that. But to be honest, I'm okay with being flat-chested. But yeah, that's another thing that I heard, which is the only good side effect, in my opinion, that I heard. But I don't know, it could just be fake, guys. You know, TikTok people just like to make up shit anyways sometimes.
Yeah. TikTok is just TikTok, random shit.
It's just TikTok.
Alright, that has been me and Barsha
waffling on about vaccine and Freedom Day. Well, you guys won't be seeing us out much, especially not in the nightclubs, because there's a lot of Nepali party ko there on here.
I know, like I was like, oh my god.
Quick one, just I know we always do this, guys, but I was thinking like when Rash and we went skating and then Saturday. We were saying like, oh, with this opening clubs, do you think you'll go back up again? Blah blah blah. And I was like, hell no, I'm not going back to proper strong enough. Especially you August August you July Madrid. And suddenly I hear my brother going, I'm going to the August one. I was like, fucker, you're gonna be the person that's gonna bring fucking corona in here. But I was like, nah. And he was like, why? When I go, then he goes, I don't know, just wanna go. I was like, bruh, like you better not be entering this house. But yeah, I'm mind blown, to be honest, that people are so keen on going again.
I don't know, you know, I've seen a lot of young people go.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just a young mentality.
Yeah, I think it's the young generation. I think if I bet if we were still like 18, 19, would be like, oh, let's just go, like it's opened after a long time.
Especially if you're like 18, 19, you've just turned, let's say during the COVID period, you turn 18, you have an experience club.
You miss out a lot because then nothing was open, everything was closed. I think that explanation would make sense actually for them to be going out.
Especially they're young and kind of like, who cares type of attitude.
And I think some youngsters still believe that, oh, COVID doesn't affect young people as much whenever. So
maybe it's the fact that we've been to clubs before and we're like, been there, done that. We're just old.
We've experienced it, but that's it. We don't need it no more.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe.
Alright, let's wrap this up then.
Right, toodle-doo. Catch you on the next one.
Bye.